Hello Dtravel community, my name is Mark Simpson from Boostly. In this video, I wanted to show you how you can convert an Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo booking into a direct one with a little hack. So I assume by you watching this video that you are with Airbnb, hopefully Vrbo, Booking.com, spread around multi-channels, and you also have what is called a property management software, otherwise known as a PMS, okay? There are 1,000 different PMSs out there, but the most common ones are Guesty, you've got Zeevoo, you've got Hostaway, Uplisting, you name it. There are a lot out there. So you've got your property management software, and whenever a booking comes in from one of the channels, an email and a message goes out via your PMS to the person who has made the booking, to the guest, okay? So let's just assume in this circumstance, a guest is booked via an OTA. The communication has come into your PMS to say there's a booking being made, and you have what is called an email template with a confirmation of the booking that gets sent out to the guest at that point of reservation. Now, for a bit of context, it doesn't matter if you collect full payment at the point of reservation. It doesn't matter if you collect nothing or if you collect a deposit. This works in either scenario. So the email confirmation goes out to the guest. Now, I pretty much guarantee that most of you know that you've got an email confirmation and you know that you've got a template, but you haven't amended it, you haven't bespoked it, you haven't edited it to suit you. This is where we're going to focus on. So whoever your PMS is, go and find your email templates and go to the edit button, because you're going to be able to bespoke this message. Now, a big part of the growth of the book direct movement is around two things: educating the guest. Now, we've got to educate the guest to tell them about the money that they can save when they book direct, but also the incentives that they get as well. Now, this tip that I'm going to tell you about is a story that we did at our family business, and it worked over 60% of the time. But the example that I'm going to give you is focused around an incentive of an earlier check-in. Now, our check-in was 1 p.m. It always has, and it always will at our family business. What we did was we kept that check-in at 1 p.m. because we didn't want to kill ourselves trying to get a room or a property ready before 1 o'clock. Now, your check-in time may be 2 o'clock, it may be 3 o'clock, it may be 4 o'clock, it may be 12 o'clock, it may be whatever o'clock, it doesn't matter. But ours was 1 p.m. Now, what we did is we kept that check-in time at 1 p.m. But on all of the listing sites, Airbnb, Expedia, Vrbo, Booking.com, we went into our extranet and we changed the check-in time to 5 p.m. So remember, when they book direct, 1 p.m., OTA, 5 p.m. We weren't putting an earlier check-in time, so our cleaners weren't hating us. What we did is we moved the check-in time back to 5 p.m. on the OTAs. Remember that, 1 p.m. direct, 5 p.m. OTAs. In the email confirmation that we sent out, we amended the text to say, hi, first name. So let's just say Joyce. Hi, Joyce. Thank you so much for booking a stay with us at Insert Your Business. It's really important that you read this confirmation email because it's got important check-in and holiday and vacation information. So you've got to make them want to read it. Okay? They can't just hit the archive button, hit the read button, and move on to the next one. The next thing, you're going to instantly break down what the check-in time is. If you have booked direct with us, and in brackets, you can put email, website, phone, your check-in time is 1 p.m. If you have booked with us via a third party and then call them out, i.e. Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo, your check-in time is 5 p.m. Put a little bit of underneath, so it could be car parking on site, and then you've got to finish with, and this is the important bit, if you would like to amend any part of your booking, please call us and contact us directly. And I put my cell phone number on there because I was dealing with all of the guests. You may want to put in the main office number or a team member's number, whatever it may be, but have a direct point of call, and you want them to call you. You don't want them to email back. You want them to call you because you want to take it off the email to a phone call. So I had my personal number in, and I put, if you wanted to change anything about your stay. Now, why does this work? Well, number one, put yourself into the guest shoes. If you were going on a vacation, if you were going to be driving, say 2-3 hours, say you were going to be flying, say you were coming in for an event, you want to make sure that you can get in your property as soon as possible. You don't want to be hanging around. You want to be able to get in and get to the property. And if you can see in black and white in front of you that if you had booked directly, you could get an earlier check-in time, what's that going to do? It's going to make you pick up the phone and call. Now, not everybody read that email, not everybody acted, but over 60% did. And the way the conversation goes on the phone is pretty much like this. Hey, I'm Joyce. I've just made a booking. I see there's an email in here about check-in times. I just wanted to check. If I'd have booked with you directly, could I check in earlier? Yeah, absolutely, Mrs. Customer. That's no problem at all. We can change that booking for you if you like. Yeah, absolutely. How do I do that? This is the important bit. Sure thing. So all I need for you to do is just for security reasons, can you please confirm your email? Because remember, the OTAs don't give you the real email. So you get the real email from the client. And number two, fantastic. And again, so just for security, can you please confirm the card details that you'd like to use for the reservation? Full card, digits, thing on the back, and that's it. Then you say, brilliant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a direct booking. I just need for you to do one thing for me, please. Joyce, can you just log on to the app while you're on the phone with me and cancel your stay? I can't do this for you. You can only do this, but do this now. And then in about 5 minutes, I'll send you a confirmation email and we'll flip that booking around. Simple as that. Don't make it more confusing. Don't make it more complicated. Simple as that. Now, why is this a win for you? Number one, you now have no commission to pay. Why is this now a win for the guest? Is they assume that by booking direct with you, they've got the earlier check-in. They're not getting an earlier check-in. They're getting the same check-in, but we've punished everybody who books via an OTA. What did I say right at the very start? I said educating your guest. You have to educate your guest why booking direct is best. Now, if anybody's and or ahhing, you can always have the silver lining, the sort of like the last trick up your sleeve, the last card that you can pull out that would be, tell you what, if you want and if it makes life easier, when we do this booking direct, I'll even knock 5% off for you. Amazing. They will love that, the saving of the room. Because the reason why you'll want to do that is that when a booking is made via an OTA, 15% is like the average commission cost. So if you can say to a client or to a future potential guest, listen, I'll save you 5%, you're still making 10% because you don't have to pay that 10% commission charge. But don't assume that everybody goes for the best rates. A lot of the time it's the incentives. Now, the biggest kickback to this that I get is, won't that hurt your rankings on Airbnb, booking.com, wherever? The answer is no. And the reason being is this: 33% of all OTAs bookings result in a cancellation. That number's only going higher. Why? Because there is no commitment from the guest when they book. The flexible cancellation that they are pushing is so high. Even on Airbnb now, as they're scrapping service charges for the guest, there's no service charges for the guest. They're just putting the commission cost onto you, the host. There's no commitment. Even if they've paid up front, they can cancel and get the money back straight away, as long as it's within a certain time frame. Now, if you've got super strict cancellation policies on the OTAs, number one, for a ranking and optimization point of view, you want to be getting that as flexible as possible, because the more flexible you are, the higher your ranking will be. That's just a given. That's just, that's standard. But also as well, for this tactic to work, you want to be having a very semi-flexible sort of thing where they, as long as they don't cancel within 72 hours of the point of arrival. So number three, the reason why this works, the win for you, the win for the guest. And it doesn't hurt your ranking, because the way that it's worked is that it's the guest cancelling with you. Now, if you had cancelled that, that's a big no-no. You should never, ever, ever, ever cancel a stay. If you cancel a stay, you might as well just delete your listing, because you'll lose superhost status, you'll lose all of the things, and your ranking tanks as well. So this tactic works beautifully because it takes less than 5 minutes to do. It's just a super little tweak. Again, I hope this helps. The most important thing that I want for you to do is to put it into practice. Don't sit on this. It works ridiculously well. One thing that somebody came to me recently and said, well, I've been sending it out now for about 50 times and I've only had about 10 people message me. Well, tweak your offer, tweak the incentive a little bit. Sort of If early check-in isn't hitting with people, can you do something else? I use the check-in as an example because that's what we did at our family business, but there's other little incentives and things that you can do. The main thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to be emailing them directly and saying, cancel your stay on Airbnb and call me directly, because that will get flagged. You've got written proof there. And this is why we want to get them on the phone as soon as possible. And I'm not saying pick up your phone and call them directly and say, hey, cancel your stay, because that's not how this works. This works well because it's them, as in the guest, calling you to book with you directly. And it's them that are insinuating this, because then they can't then go to Airbnb and say, oh, that host called me up and told me to cancel my booking with you and book direct. You'll never get anywhere with that. Make sure you do it this way and it'll work time and time again.